Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is a German-born physicist, developed the special and general theories of relativity. He won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921 for his explanation of photoelectric effect. Albert Einstein is generally considered the most influential physicist of the 20th century. In 1902, Einstein reached perhaps the lowest point in his life. He could not marry Meleva Marik, who he loved, and support a family without a job. Desperate and unemployed, Einstein took lowly jobs. The turning point came later that year, when the father of his lifelong friend, Marcel Grossman, was able to recommend him for a position as a clerk in his Swiss patent office in Bern. Einstein married Erich Marik on Jan 6, 1903. Their children Hans Albert and Eduard were born in Bern in 1904 and 1910 respectively. In hindsight, Einstein's job as a patent office was a blessing. He would quickly finish analyzing patent applications, leaving him time to daydream about the version that had observed him since he was 16. What will happen if you race alongside on a light beam? Einstein had studied Maxwell's equation, which describe the nature of light, and discovered that the speed of light remained the same no matter how fast one moved. The violated Newton's law of motion, however, became there is no absolute velocity in Isaac Newton's theory. This insight led Einstein to formulate the principle of relativity. The speed of light is a constant in any inertial frame, constantly moving frame. During 1905, often called Einstein's miracle year, he published 4 papers in the Annalen der Physik, each of which would alter the course of modern physics. Number 1. Über einen den Exogang und Verwandlung des Lichts betreffend heuristischen Gesichtspunkt, on a heuristic viewpoint concerning the production and transformation of light, in which Einstein applied the quantum theory to light in order to explain the photoelectric effect. If light occurs in a tiny packet, later called photons, then it should knock out electrons in a metal in a precise way. Number 2. Über die one day Molekularkinetistik Theorie der Wärme gefordert Bewegung one in ruhenden Flüssigkeit suspended teacher. On the movement of small particle suspended in stationary liquids required by the molecular kinetic theory of heat, in which Einstein offered the first experimental proof of the existence of atoms by analyzing the motion of tiny particles suspended in still water, called Brownian motion. He could calculate the size of the jostling atom and Avogadro's number. Zur Elektromagnetik Betwengat-Korper on the electrodynamics of moving bodies, in which Einstein laid out the mathematical theory of special relativity. Eist die Traheget Eins Korper von Senem Energehalt Abhängig. Does the inertia of the body depend upon its energy content? Submitted almost as a afterthought, which showed that relativity theory led to the equation E equal to mc square. This provided the first mechanism to explain the energy source of the sun and the other stars. Einstein was the first to assemble the whole theory together and realize that it was universal law of nature, not a curious figment of motion in the ether. At first, Einstein's 1905 papers were ignored by the physics community. This began to change after he received the attention of just one physicist, perhaps the most influential physicist of his generation, Max Planck, the founder of the quantum theory. Soon, owing to Planck's laudatory comments and to experiments that gradually confirmed his theories, Einstein rose rapidly in the academic world. One of the deep thoughts that consumed Einstein from 1905 to 1915 was a crucial flaw in his own theory. It made no mention of gravitation or acceleration. For the next 10 years, Einstein would be absorbed with formulating the theory of gravity in terms of the curvature of space-time. To Einstein, Newton's gravitational force was actually by product of a deeper reality, the bending of fabric of space and time. In November 1915, Einstein finally completed the general theory of relativity, which he considered to be his masterpiece. Einstein was convinced that general relativity was correct because of its mathematical beauty and because it accurately predicted the perihelion of Mercury's orbit around the Sun. His theory also predicted a measurable deflection of light around the Sun. As a consequence, he even offered to help fund an expedition to measure the deflection of starlight during the eclipse of Sun. After World War I, 2 expeditions were sent to test Einstein's prediction of deflected starlight near the Sun. One set sail for island of Principe off the coast of West Africa and the other no Sobral in northern Brazil in order to observe the solar eclipse of May 29, 1919 on November 6, 1919. The results were announced in London at the joint meeting of the Royal Society and Royal Astronomical Society. The headline of the Times of London read "Revolutions in Science, New Theory of the Universe, Newton's Idea Overthrown." Momentous pronouncement, space warped. Almost immediately, Einstein became a world-renowned physicist, the successor of Isaac Newton. In December 1932, Einstein decided to leave Germany forever. He would never go back. It became obvious to Einstein and his life was in danger. Einstein settled at the newly formed Institute of Advanced Study at Princeton, NJ, which soon became a mecca for physicists around the world. In 1935, Einstein's most celebrated attack on a quantum theory led to the EPR, Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen thought experiment. According to quantum theory, under certain circumference, 2 electrons separated by huge distance could have their properties linked as if by an umbilical cord. Under this circumstance, if the properties of the first electron were measured, the state of the second electron would be known instantly faster than the speed of light. This conclusion Einstein claimed clearly violated relativity. Experiments are conducted since then have confirmed that the quantum theory rather than Einstein was correct about the EPR experiment. In essence, what Einstein had actually shown what the quantum mechanics is non-local, i.e., such that random information can travel faster than light. This does not violate relativity because the information is random and therefore useless. The other reason for Einstein increasing detached from his colleagues was his obsession beginning in 1925 with discovering a unified field theory and all-embracing theory that would unify the forces of the universe and thereby the law of physics into one framework. In his later year, he stopped opposing the quantum theory and tried it to incorporate it along with light and gravity into a larger unified field theory. In some sense, Einstein, instead of being a relic, may have been too far ahead of his time. The strong force, a major piece of any unified field theory, was still a total mystery in Einstein's lifetime. Only in 1970s and 80s did physicists begin to unravel the secret of strong force with quark model.